What's good with the collective? Y'all know we back with another banger, another reaction. I appreciate everybody who been tapping in, running up, and subbing up. If you new to the channel, please like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell so you always notified whenever we drop them uploads. Y'all know we coming with about 4 videos every smooth 7, and this is for entertainment purposes as well. And when you like and comment and subscribe to the channel, helps collective grow, helps collective get bigger, helps more people who like this type of content tap in with this content. But I wanted to go ahead and give a shout out to my man Kasai. I'll go run him up, man. His name is Kasai TV. He been doing this YouTube thing a long time. Been doing it longer than me. So I just wanted to give him a shout out. I met him through my sis when cause you know, she started YouTube before me. So I just want to give a shout out to some channels that, you know, been doing it before me. But I had to give my guy a shout out though. I appreciate y'all collective. If you haven't subbed up, you watching on your TV, it's all good, it's all love. I appreciate you as well. I hope you having a smooth 7. But might be a trigger warning or 2. I hope not. Y'all know how we coming up. Y'all know what it is. Let's get straight to the video, man. Let's go.
Kanye has officially went crazy, y'all. This man got an unaliving wish, if you know what I'm talking about. Did y'all just see what he said about Jay-Z and Beyonce kids? The twins? Yo man is wildin', y'all. This man wrote, has anybody seen Beyonce and Jay-Z twins? They are our words. Literally. That's what this man just said. Then he goes, this is why artificial insemination is a blessing. He said having R-word kids is a choice. Y'all see what it say right here. I'm telling y'all, something is wrong with his Abdullah oblongata. They really did something to clone your brain, y'all. It is not right. This man is wildin'. Like, you didn't have to bring the kids into it. That's where the line crossed. That's wild, bro. They only kids. You could go at Jay-Z and Beyonce, but leave the kids alone. He going at everybody neck. He said F everybody. Maybe, y'all, he hella mad because he might have to lose $500 million if that divorce is finalized. I need y'all to drop y'all thoughts down below in the comments on what the hell is going on with Kanye. What is his motive here? I really need to know.
Yeah, what is his motive? Spam it up, man. He coming hard.
Okay, so Grand Crystal Council, here we go. What is this? This is going down at Texas Tech. Green flames shooting out of the manholes all over the campus, and no one knows why, so they're locking it down and evacuating the whole situation. But from my perspective, once again, 2025 on the Gregorian. As above, so below. There's fire coming from the sky, there's fire coming from beneath. And I've never seen green flames in my life. I've seen blue flames, red and orange, all the spectrum, but not green. This is something else, and it could be some kind of chemical or something of that nature, but I mean, from what and from where, and why is it shooting up through the manholes and all over the campus? And they don't know what's happening. But again, in my personal opinion, I think it's just the elements alchemizing, activating, and responding to becoming the fire lake. I think it's just judgment on Rome. We're seeing the destruction coming from angles and from regions we've never seen before. So anyway, family, like I always say, brace yourselves. We're not in Kansas anymore. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about these green flames shooting up out the manholes at Texas Tech. Let's go. Bang, bang. Yeah.
Council, ride the wave. Enjoy the ride. The change is inevitable, and there's nothing we can do to stop it. We have to embrace the natural pattern, become part of it, and expand with it. Spiral up.
Yeah, I ain't never seen a green flame. I can't tell you what I think it is.
Allah. Ouais. Mais ouais, je crois là, c'est quoi? C'est de la sorcellerie. C'est pas de la sorcellerie. C'est bon, madame.
What y'all doing if y'all see a person do some shit like that? Me personally, I'm probably about to run up out of there, bro. I don't think I'm going to give him a hand. I don't want that energy attaching itself to me. I'm sorry, but I'm letting God do what he needs to do. This don't concern me. I need to go the other way. I ain't qualified, and it's above my pay grade. Y'all let me know if that's a far reach. The first clip we saw with the girl in the park levitating, we saw that clip before. Some of y'all said it was cap, some say fact. The channel was a little bit smaller at that point. I want to know y'all perspective now. Cap or fact? Let me know.
So if y'all didn't know, the Florida Keys are literally on fire right now, y'all. And this one hits close to home because this is exactly where I'm from, y'all. This is where I grew up. Now, they have not yet confirmed what started the fire, but they're speculating that it is because the intensity of the heat, y'all. Like, it's not even summertime yet, and these wildfires are literally going crazy all over the world, y'all. This is insane, and people cannot get out. Now, what blows my mind is people in South Florida are saying they're not hearing anything about this on the news. No coverage and no nothing. We're talking about one of the most iconic places in the Florida Keys. The Keys has so much history, so much energy, right? Everything going on, and now they're burning and nobody's talking about it. Y'all don't believe me? Look at this. We're in Broward. Why isn't this on the news? Also, I live in South Florida, and this is the first I've ever heard or seen of this. And here's other people making their own speculations about, you know, these things that are coming into fruition. Now, I'm not going to get into this too long. I just wanted you guys to be aware of what's happening. And there's so much going on around the world. So if you like the content, you dig it, y'all, give me a follow, like, follow, and share for more videos like this. Let's continue to get it. Peace in.
Prayers to Florida, man. I think great fires.
This is your sign not to play with mirrors. Watch this, y'all. That's not supposed to happen when you're in front of a mirror. But they are gateways to other worlds. Watch the eye. No.
And there's this huge warehouse, grocery store, or something down there. But wait, it gets even crazier.
Watch the eye. Nope. And this woman figures out this mirror is a gateway for real. Don't play with mirrors, y'all.
She makes like a creepy smile. 3, 2, 1.
As always, thank you for watching. Check out the Truth Vault on Discord. Link is in bio. Stay weird.
My biggest thing with mirrors is, if you ever, like a medicine cabinet, you open it, and you got the mirror in your bathroom, and you put them together, and you can see all those rows of like different worlds. That used to trip me out as a kid. I used to play with that I don't know how many times in the bathroom and get in trouble for that. My mom would be like, "Stop playing with the mirrors. What is wrong with you?" It caught my attention as a kid. It intrigued me. But I think American Horror Stories, had an episode of mirrors, if I'm not mistaken. But y'all let me know. Is it a far reach? Can you get into other realms? Can you go to different universes, different dimensions, different worlds? However you want to put it. Can you time travel? Can you do all these? I want to know y'all perspective. Let me know. I think you could do something with mirrors. And I don't think it's too well. I haven't had mirror experiences like that though, where I'm looking at it and my reflection do something different. I ain't seen that. Part of me thinks some of those clips don't really exist, but then I guess I can't say that because what I ain't see. Is that why I say that? But y'all let me know y'all thoughts and opinions, man. Spam it up.
Avatar was not only a movie, it was a story about how they destroyed one of the biggest trees that had belonged to this realm. And this is exactly why we see so many rocks that look like the tree stumps. It's because they actually were. Look at this one from 1899. And there are so many more that I can get you the picture of, but the point is that Avatar was not just a film, it was a story, and they throw it in our faces. And even in the Bible, Daniel, he talks about trees going up to the heavens, the firmament. If you really think these rocks were just rocks, need to think again. Maybe this is another reason they don't allow us to explore the North Pole.
Thank you very much, sir.
Now, are you ready to give a riveting speech? You're gonna change lives.
I thought I was finished with that. What do I have to do now?
You're never over.
You what?
I said I thought I was finished, but apparently I'm not.
Look, once we're done, we'll get out of here.
Now, what do I do here?
Same thing. Talk about you. We'll make some new questions.
But I don't have the.
Yes, you will. Yes.
Yeah.
You get your money's worth out of me.
Every single penny.
Penny, like 5 pennies.
Man, that's like elder, you know the word with the A and the B. Take that shit out the sky, bro.
See that? Because you're supposed to be asleep at 9, not really at 12. You're supposed to go to sleep at 9 if your body needs healing. I only sleep 4 hours a day. If you're healthy and you healed, you don't need to be charged for a long time. You can charge up real quick. See that? This phone can charge up real quick, so it don't need to be on the charge. I'm just going to take phone calls, so it's on there. That's the same thing as my cellular phone or my cellular structure that I call my bio body. I don't need to stay plugged in long to be recharged. I can sleep for 3 to 4 hours and I'm back up at it. You know what I'm saying? So then that shows you we finna get into the purpose of sleep too. But when you actually going to sleep, you getting into your REM sleeping. Sleep with a purpose, y'all. When you go to sleep, just don't go to sleep because you tired. Go to sleep with a specific job and duty to do when you're in a different realm. Well, let's quit calling it a dream state. There is no such thing as dreams. There's no such thing. You're traveling in a different plane of density. You have left this vehicle and you done picked up the Ferrari. You done picked up the AMG G-Wagon. You done picked up another vehicle that's way better than this vehicle. Notice in the dream, in your dream state, you don't, in this state, this car get wrecked, it get completed. You just got to get another one and you can't get it here on this realm. But when you REM sleeping, that's the purpose of sleep. Sleep is nothing but deep meditation. Never sleep. Real sleeping is this body. Death of this cellular structure. You can't come back from that. When you're sleeping, you're literally in a meditating REM state, and you're doing this to charge the body and to get downloads from the etheric realm, or you're teaching yourself in the other realms, and you're bringing that intellect and them downloads back into this realm when serotonin is high in the sky. And
that man going crazy.
You know they gotta kill me. We gotta try. See a problem. What I'm talking about. How does your soul feel? You feel that energy? Can't nobody fake that. This ain't TV, nigga. This me at the house on the phone. You feel that because I am a divine being. It's a difference, man. I came back to do this. Malcolm, Martin, JFK, shit, Muhammad Gandhi. Him, bodies. Because they know that I'm him. He who came and woke the whole planet up and led his people to victory as Babylon fell, nigga. And there's no fear there. They know it. They know it.
Free Rashad Jamal, man. Free my guy. I say it all the time. They ain't do what they say he did. That's my opinion. Everybody free to disagree. I don't know if y'all seen he got a new video out. It was the first time he spoke since being in there. And he's still on the same type of energy. He's still on the same type of time. And he's saying can't break him. Free my guy. Free my guy, man. I don't think he did it. But Hey, because the same people who rock with him when he was doing good, and he's talking about a certain group of people, and then they put the dirt on him, them same people who used to rock with him, some of them switched and believed the same people they once was against because they was agreeing with what he was saying. Well, I understand. It's like when Kendrick got that song, are you still gonna be a fan when shit hit the fan? Like, are you gonna believe those people, or are you gonna believe me? If you really a fan and you know me, or you know what I stand for, you gonna ride with me. You're not gonna jump on the opposite side because you can't stand on your own, or you know what I mean? But hey, everybody free to feel and think and agree with what they want to agree or disagree with. That's my opinion, but free my guy. Y'all spam all y'all thoughts and opinions.
The beings that control and manipulate this realm are extraterrestrial reptilians from the Draco constellation. These are the ones affiliated with the government and the entertainment industry. These beings have a tyrannical mindset opposed to the law of one. They're against Christ consciousness and unity. Now, they do eat flesh. They do believe they're more superior to humans. Some of them actually have wings. The ones in the higher hierarchy actually do have wings and can fly. They typically are from 7 to 13 foot tall. These beings are the ones responsible for us being in an amnesia state. They thrive off low-frequency energy like fear, sadness, grief, and guilt. The 13 families of the Illuminati consist of this extraterrestrial bloodline. A lot of these beings exist in subterranean bases. Most of them derive underground. They use high-tech equipment to bend light photon particles to hide their reptilian shape. What most don't realize is that these beings don't only have the ability to actually shift from reptilian to humanoid, they also can appear completely invisible. These beings can literally be in the room with you and you wouldn't know it. To put it in perspective, think about the technology that the predator used when he's hunting. Typically, when people imagine these reptilians, they imagine them being green, but there's also a lot of dark, melanated looking ones, black draconians, if you may, okay, that actually do have Nubian looking features, the thicker lips. Some of them even have hair. Some of them are part mammalian with the widow's peak as well. When they say shadow government, these are the beings they're speaking of. These are the beings that basically control things from the darkness. This is why there's a war between the light and the dark. The light will expose those camouflaged and hidden in the dark. This is what the Great Awakening is about. It's about fully becoming aware of everything that's going on.
Well, it's official. Segregation is now back on the table for the American government, and we have Donald Trump to thank for it. You heard me right. Thanks to Donald Trump, segregation is now no longer banned in the federal government. More specifically, government contractors are no longer banned from having segregated restaurants, waiting rooms, and drinking fountains. Yeah, thanks to Donald Trump, now government contractors can have shit like this again. And what was Donald Trump's logic behind this asinine decision? Well, he's tackling DEI, of course. Donald Trump is bringing back segregation in order to supposedly combat DEI. I wish I was making this shit up. I wish I was making up all of the insane shit that Donald Trump says and does. But unfortunately, this is just our reality now, and until somebody does something about Donald Trump, I'm afraid there won't be an end to the madness anytime soon.
Now, I asked y'all in a previous video. I had heard some things like that. And I asked y'all if it was true, can y'all let me know? And y'all let me know in the comments. Y'all also just sent me this. I forgot about that topic. I want to know y'all thoughts. I want to hear y'all perspective. Let's say a company does take on that ideology. That's about to cause so much division. That's crazy. That's about to create some shit in the workplace. Let's just hope that it don't really get all the way to that point, man. Like, this shit's crazy. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts, man. Y'all let me know y'all opinions. Y'all came through, y'all sent me something. Y'all let me dive a little deeper. I totally forgot about that. I seen the comments. I'm like, okay, we're gonna see. We're gonna let it play out. And we letting it play out. So, and y'all see, hey, y'all know what to say, and that's crazy. Appreciate y'all, collective. Thank you again. I appreciate that.
Oh my God. We parked on the side of the freeway, really just watching it. This is Dallas, Texas, right off 75. This is the real deal, guys. Them folks online are think I'll get some stuff like this, but here it is.
Glue Team AI. Oh, real.
All right, Instagram friends. I am in the middle of filming my daily radar on my website, arianamasters.com, where I go over radar stations and trails for the entire planet. And we've got some unusual activity over in the middle of the US right now. We have a million zip zaps. This is what it looked like in Texas and Florida and North Carolina and South Carolina before the fires. Now, again, I hope it's all just a theory of nefarious activity. However, I would keep a lookout for these states. Because notice how, by the way, again, and I say this all the time on my show, but in fact, I'll put the map here. Every single circle of light you see, that's a tower. I'm not going to say the specific name. Hopefully someone will put that in the comments, because I have to be cautious with the words I use on here. That's why I do this all on my website. But I'll put the map of the tower here. You can even look it up on Google yourself. But they are just going absolutely insane over here, which is interesting because notice over here we have a system moving through, lots of moisture. The towers over here aren't really doing much. You know, they're just behaving normally. They're tracking the system. Over here, the area is abnormally dry. So if you notice here, this is the only part of the country that has nothing going on. And yet, it's the area where the towers are behaving the most crazy. It's like a rave. See that? That's just crazy. Meanwhile, in the other parts of the country, the towers are not behaving that way at all. For instance, check out California. California actually has a system coming through. Their towers aren't doing nearly what these towers are all doing. This is something else you'll probably want to check out. California is loaded. This is, I'm sure you guys have seen your skies, but this is what it looks like on satellite. See that? It's like tic-tac-toe. Yeah, guys, let me know how if you guys have any migraines, flu-like symptoms here. And I'm also curious what's been going on over here for the last week. It's just been, it hasn't stopped glowing. It's just been a constant glow. Yeah, come and join me on my website if you want to see more. All right, bye.
Let us know, man.
Oh shit!
Trying to drive her in away from the exit so I can get the hell out of here. I'm gonna trap him in this door. That's what I'm gonna do him.
If that was real, dude would have got him when he came through the closet, in my opinion. I don't know. Let me know if that was cap or not. I thought it was cap.
Yup. We are all being surveilled right now, and if you see them in your backyard or near your home, it's a dire warning that even running at that point might be too late. People were terrified after a Utah mother went viral for her husband and son seeing something that turned them pale white, as it was something not from Earth, had sharp red stained teeth, and about 3 feet tall, climbing all over the backyard walls, and it was waiting for them to go to bed. Haunting footage shows the mother putting pennies and sports balls all over the yard to try to lure it in. And after just a few minutes, she seemingly saw the pennies stack themselves and the balls disappear.
So we came back from dinner, all's gone. And this is what happened.
With even the neighbors leaving an eerie warning that violent duendes or paranormal gnomes have been spotted there, and they specifically watch us to take children. And since the mother had given them gifts, it's believed the duendes will take this as a welcoming to Earth, and they might not only be here to stay, but their first victim might be this family. The mother's TikTok has since then been completely deleted, and no one has heard from her since.
In 2025, we thought we were going to get aliens, but this man went to go walk his dog, and instead he saw a gnome. This gnome is pushing a wheelbarrow. What is happening?
Y'all said we gonna take this dive back down the gnomes, the duendes, and the fae tribes. Y'all said we was gonna take that dive, so I guess that's where we headed, right? I don't know, man. Like I said before, everything can't be capped. Everything we see can't be fake. It all can't be fake. That's damn near living in denial and closed-minded living in so many words if everything was fake. But y'all tell me, cause I'm sitting back just enjoying this rollout. But again, I appreciate y'all collective for real. Y'all be looking out, and then I ask y'all what y'all want to see, and then y'all say it, and I be like, all right, well send it through. We gonna run it out. We gonna run through them, and y'all do, and y'all never miss. Y'all never miss. This shit crazy.
Y'all, I am so creeped out right now. I just saw a video of a woman talking about how her husband and her son, well, they live in Utah. They moved from Vegas to Utah. And her husband and son saw a gnome outside of their house. And girl, she did a whole test where she put out these pennies, right? And she put out a basketball. And for whatever reason, I guess gnomes are supposed to like be attracted to like money or pennies and like basketballs and baseball and stuff like that. I don't know. And it moved it, y'all. Oh my gosh, I got chills. And I looked into the history of gnomes, and they're actually called duendes. And duendes are like these little, I guess, creatures that, you know, are paranormal, and only certain people can see them. So like if you're not in tune with whatever it is, you can't see it. And it reminded me of this story I read a while back on Reddit of this couple that lived in this house, and it was an older house, and they, you know, had just moved in, and both of them were sleeping in the bedroom when they like, you know, heard or saw something, and they looked across their room, and there was a little gnome-like creature like running around. And he looked at his wife and he was like, can you see it? Can you see what I'm seeing? And she's like, yes, I can see it. And both of them heard, saw it in that situation. And they also heard like noises going up and down the stairs and stuff like that. But yeah, that's creepy, y'all. Honestly, in 2025, honestly, I don't put anything past this year. Gnomes, Tesla, girl, all this crazy stuff is happening. I really don't, you know, mermaids being eaten. I don't know. Just a lot of weird stuff going on. But yeah, that's crazy.
It's 2025 and I'm not shocked by none of this shit. Y'all see the mother? He running the fence line. That ain't no rat, bro.
woman up in I want to say Juneau, or no, what's the Nome, Alaska. And back in the day, she was she became famous because she claimed aliens were basically like showing up in a and stuff, right? That eventually her kid got by aliens, or so that's the case, and they accused her of like killing the kid or whatever it may be. Like, obviously, nobody believes that this woman's son was her daughter was a alien.
So it's not currently available in our country?
Yeah, I think it's like in Canada.
If I'm not mistaken, that's the fourth kind storyline to the movie. If I'm not mistaken, that's to that movie. But if you haven't heard of it, you gotta go down that rabbit hole. You got to. Y'all want us to spam it up. Check the movie out, classic. But I personally don't. I mean, me in my opinion, I don't think that she did nothing. I think that I think her story was valid. Just because you gotta like go back and watch the actual footage and all that type of shit, and then you'll see some of the rabbit holes we've dove down. Just some of them that's out there that we might not have touched. Like, the shit ain't too far off. I mean, to me. But y'all let me know.
Ey, es un duendecito, Brian. Mirá, Tito, mirá. ¡Hey! ¡Hey! ¿Dónde está el bicho? Mira. Che, ¿qué haces ahí? Como si que no puede. Vení para acá. ¿Quién es Tito? Se bajó de... Nada, pues sí, se bajó del tren, mono. ¡Hey! Vení. No sé, boludo. ¡Hey! ¡Vení! Ahí nos caga, jotas. Se quería subir ahí, Tito, y no podía, no me digas. Vení. ¡Hey!
And he about to F around and find out.
Let's talk about Fae traps, traps made by the Fae to ensnare humans. These traps are often subtle and rely on a human's curiosity, greediness, or naivety. By the way, my name is Megan. I'm a paranormal researcher and investigator and co-host of a paranormal podcast called Follow the Woo, produced by paranormal production company New Blood Universe. So make sure you're following me and make sure you're following them. The first one, and this is one we talk about and hear about all the time, are fairy rings. They look like this. These are often seen as a portal into the Fae realm. A person who steps into one of these rings might be drawn into a dance. In this ring, in this dance, time moves differently, and you're likely to lose track of time. You might think that you've been there for an hour. Well, you've been there for a year, okay? You think you're coming home for supper later tonight? You're coming home and your mom's 92, okay, baby? Isn't that bad news bears? This is said to be a common way that the Fae trap humans into their world. Another common natural trap would be a fairy mound or a fairy hill. They would look like this. These are typically ancient burial mounds or natural hills that are often associated with the Fae. These mounds are also said to be entrances into the fairy world. Humans who either disturb or approach these mounds, especially at different times of day like dusk or in certain seasons, might be drawn inside and trapped. Once inside, they might be kept as a guest or a prisoner, but either way, unable to return to the human realm. Next, we got will-o'-the-wisps. I hope I said that right. I always wonder if I'm saying it right. Regardless, these are mysterious lights that kind of dance over bogs or swamps. The belief is that the Fae are trying to lure unwary travelers off of their path and lure them into dangerous areas, such as deep water, quicksand, or really dense foliage in forests where you can't find your way out. There are also certain forests and groves that are believed to be enchanted by the Fae. These woods would have the power to disorient travelers, either causing them to just be completely lost, walk in circles, lose track of time, that kind of thing. In some stories, these forests could trap humans for days, years, or even forever. There are also believed to be Fae ponds and lakes. Bodies of water are often associated with the Fae. Some folklore suggests that certain ponds and lakes are entrances into the Fae realm, and that if one were to enter and swim in these waters, they would be pulled down and trapped in the Fae realm. In some tales, this water might look clear and inviting and like the perfect place to go for a swim. But once you get inside, it's not like that. It is dark and murky and you're stuck inside, like something is forcing you to be there. Stone circles are another area that are believed to be associated with the Fae. They're believed to be ancient gathering places for the Fae, or again, portals to their world. Entering a stone circle, especially at night or during certain seasons or during certain times of the year like solstices, could lead you to being trapped in the Fae realm or be under a Fae's influence. This one reminds me of Outlander. Anybody else? Along with water that I spoke of earlier, there's also believed to be like enchanted wells or creeks or springs. Approaching or drinking from this water could result in you being drawn into the Fae world or binding you to a promise or curse related to the Fae. In some folklore, this water could also grant wishes. However, there's always a catch when you're getting a wish from the Fae. Like you might wind up being stuck in a never-ending cycle of desire. Another one are Fae paths or invisible roads. These are believed to be paths that the Fae travel along. Humans who unknowingly walk along these paths, especially at night, might be swept away or drawn into the Fae realm. Another one is twisted trees or entangled roots, which always look so beautiful. Trees with twisted trunks or entangled roots are seen as being touched by the Fae or touched by Fae magic. People who get too close to these trees could get confused or even be physically ensnared by the roots and branches. There's also a belief that these trees are guardians of Fae territory, which is such a cool concept. However, those who try to harm or pass these trees might wind up being trapped until they make amends. Thick mists or fog is another thing that is believed could be caused by the Fae. Mist or fog could obviously disorient travelers, leading them off their safe path and into danger. Once lost in this mist, they might be trapped in a Fae-induced illusion where they wander aimlessly until they're either released, find their way back by chance, or they starve to death and Bob's your uncle. It's bad news bears. Those are all of the natural and kind of nature-driven ways that the Fae might entrap humans, but there are other ways that are a little more sinister. So one of these ways are bewitching tunes. You're being enchanted by music and dancing. In many folklore stories, a human will hear enchanting music and feel lured to follow the sound. Once they get to the source of the sound, it will typically be a Fae gathering where they are either forced to dance until they collapse from exhaustion or trapped in the Fae realm. Not good. Something the Fae are also super good at is glamour and illusions. So they might make something look more beautiful and desirable than it really is. For example, a bed of leaves might be made to look like a bed of gold. Score? But not score, because it's leaves, bro. If you were to go and try to grab that gold, the Fae be grabbing you. Or another way that they might glamour would be making themselves to look like a lost child or a beautiful maiden, luring a human to help them. Another thing they might do is offer you a little treat, okay? Don't accept treats from the Fae. Accepting food and drink from the Fae can be literally dangerous. In folklore, eating or drinking anything from the Fae realm can bind you to the Fae realm. I don't know if any of you saw Pan's Labyrinth, such an iconic movie, but in the movie, the little girl eats the food in the Fae realm, and that was one of the things she was absolutely not supposed to do. This is something that could trap you in the Fae realm forever. Another thing that the Fae might do to try to trap or ensnare humans is making deals or promises. Never make a deal or a promise with the Fae, because they are notorious for making deceptive promises and deceptive deals. You're getting the shit end of the stick, I promise. You might promise something to them that seems harmless, while they promise something to you that they're being very vague about. Humans often wind up being bound or trapped in the Fae realm due to these promises and deals. For instance, you might be promised wealth for only doing a small favor for them. They probably won't give you the details of what that small favor is, or if they do, they'll make it sound like it's easy peasy, when in reality, it's probably extremely dangerous. The Fae are also often believed to take items from humans, like clothing, tools, or even names. In folklore, if a human tries to take those things back, they might be inadvertently agreeing to a Fae's terms on something, trapping them into a contract or some type of debt. Indebted to the Fae, not somewhere you want to be. Another thing the Fae might do is trick you with kindness. If you are in a situation of distress, a Fae might appear and seem as though they're there to help you, when in reality, they're leading you further into danger. Or you might be obligated or indebted to the Fae for their help, which again is going to lead you into a very dangerous situation. Anyways, that's it for this one, but stay tuned because I have more information this week coming about the Fae. Also, if you want to see an entire video talking about the Fae, one will already be up on the longer storytelling platform, YouTube.
Let me know y'all experiences with this. She went deep, a deep dive.
Have you guys seen this video? Not really any wind. We need to talk about this after. And then you see this happy tree over here. Watch this. Happy tree! Do you see it? This is a happy tree, just a waving. But just wait for it. Wait to the end. How weird is that? So cool. It does it every time she walks by it. The duets and stitches are turned off, so I am going to tag her below. There's probably numerous people that have already made videos about this, but this is the first time that I've seen it. That's the Fae. That's them saying hi. They are either wanting to work with you or you have appeased them in some way. I did a video about the Fae. I do not work with the Fae. You need to be careful around the Fae. I have no idea why, I just bailed. Anyway, if you're looking in building a relationship with them and you want to work with them, that's where you need to go, because that's where they live. That's a Fae tree. That is the residence in which they live. That's why they're saying hi. So offerings, if you want to feed petitions to them after you develop a relationship with them, if you want to keep working with them, because they're apparently reaching out to you, because it happens every time you walk by it. But just make sure you know what you're getting into before you start doing that. If you're interested, I do have a video about it. I put it out a couple weeks ago. Always do your own research. I don't reach out. This is my only account. I'll look for more. See ya.
I'm up here in Humboldt County, and I just had a stark reminder of how dangerous it is up here. This tree behind me is a tree with all the shoes from the missing people. And, you know, as you can see, there's quite a few of them. So, you know, if you want to be safe, best bet is just to not come up to Humboldt County. Alrighty, stay safe.
Told y'all, man, that shit dangerous up there.
So freaky. I live in the middle of nowhere, you know? It's like my nearest neighbors are like a ways away out here in the middle of the mountains. And I'm outside, and my dogs have just been going crazy. There's animals everywhere, right? But, you know, I was outside, and then all of a sudden I hear one of my car doors shut really loud. And I'm like, what is that, dude? You know, nobody's supposed to be showing up here at 3 a.m. I mean, it's happened, but like, so I grabbed my flashlight, grabbed my my little friend, and a couple dogs, run out there, you know, and nobody, nothing. I heard my car door shut though. I know that happened, you know. There was somebody out there.
Well, I grew up out here, and, you know, back quite a few years ago now, my brother actually, he froze out in these hills. It was really interesting the way it happened, because there was a dispute over water with my neighbors, because they were like, they wanted the water for their weed plants and for cattle for whatever reasons. You know, a lot part of it was for the land. My brother, he froze out in these hills, and there's even some bruises. His fingernails were pulled back and that kind of stuff, and it's just like suspicious. And so I've always kind of had, you know, something going on about that, but it's happened so many years ago, and like we couldn't do anything, and then the law enforcement didn't really make a large effort for it. They had dogs retrieve him. That was one of the first times where I was really impacted by this. For a long time, I actually grew up over in Bell Springs, or worked over in Bell Springs, up in the mountain. I actually heard rumors that some of this started happening way back in the 80s. There was actually some people that would in the hills, but they're actually cannibals too. And they were way up there, and there was actually some cannibalism going on.
We're headed up to Alder Point. This just happened. A family of 5 in North Carolina had their home invaded and were tortured with hot metal utensils that the criminals heated on their stove. Here's the full story. This Just Happened, episode 50. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. Around 2 a.m. on June 15, 2024, in Harnett County, North Carolina, a county 40 miles south of the state's capital, Raleigh, a family of 5 experienced a terrifying home invasion and torture. While the family, comprising of a husband, wife, their daughter, and a friend of the daughter, was sitting in their garage, a group of 5 to 6 men approached them, forcing them into the house. The intruders used duct tape to restrain the family and heated a knife and fork on the stove, using these implements to torture the family members in an attempt to find where money and guns were stored. However, the family had no firearms in the home. The assailants proceeded to ransack the house, assault the children, and steal various personal items. They then fled into 2 vehicles, the family's gray 4-door Honda Accord, which remains missing, and their own silver or gray Dodge Challenger with black rims. The attack left the family with non-life-threatening injuries, and they were taken to the University of North Carolina Chapel Hill for medical treatment. In the aftermath of this harrowing incident, a GoFundMe campaign was set up by Myra Morales Scott, the sister of one of the victims, aiming to raise $15,000 to cover healthcare costs, replace stolen items, and provide additional support for the family. As of making this video, June 30th, 2024, the campaign has raised over $16,000 with a new goal of $30,000. Morales Scott described the immense physical, emotional, and mental suffering her family is enduring, noting the devastating impact on their sense of security and peace of mind. The Harnett County Sheriff's Office is actively seeking information about the suspects and the missing vehicle. Describing the incident as pure torture, they urge the public to share any information that could assist in the investigation. The Sheriff's Office has released an image of the Dodge Challenger used by the suspects and has requested anyone with information to contact their tip line. Local authorities are intensifying efforts to locate the perpetrators and are stressing the importance of community cooperation in bringing the suspects to justice.
Damn, that ain't my first time hearing some shit like that. That shit's crazy. I wonder if they even, if the Challenger is all they came out with, bro, then that's a burnt ass mission. You did all that extra work for what, bro? That's dumb as shit. That's dumb as shit. But hey, y'all let me know y'all thoughts. Prayers to that family. That shit wild.
All your computer screens are blue lit. The reason none of them are red lit, the reason none of them pay attention to circadian biology is because that original technology was developed in a government program that Bobby Kennedy knows about, and I happen to know about because I went to medical school at LSU. For those of you who've never heard about Operation Paperclip, you think it's all conspiracy theory. So at Tulane Neurology and Tulane Neurosurgery in the 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s, the CIA started a program there where they would do all these crazy things to monkeys. The CIA wanted to see how they could control things utilizing different things like things like that. Where the neurosurgeons got involved, which is my clade, we would drill tops of the heads off, put wires into the thalamus, put electricity in there, and kind of see what kind of behavioral changes we could have. One of the guys that was in that program was a guy named Professor Delgado. When he saw that we could control the behavior with the wired device, he said, what if we do it wirelessly? So he checked it in monkeys and checked it in bulls, and it turned out you can do it wirelessly with RFID chips and semiconductors. Then the CIA took it to the next level. They said, well, since this is electromagnetic radiation, what if we did it through light through screens? And it turns out you can. And that's the reason why all your computer screens have the frequencies they have. So why is this all important? Well, the person that set this meeting up between me and Bobby is the patent attorney that made sure that Google and Meta have those things so they can control the things that we all do. Where did the original idea come from that started off in MKUltra with the CIA? You're going to be surprised when you hear this. It came from the mafia in Las Vegas. They wanted to build a new city in the desert. They enclosed it all, blacked out the windows, invented slot machines that were blue lit. And they found out that they didn't have to take a gun, stick it in your face to steal your money. Then they even got smart. They said, let's give people free alcohol while they're doing that. And they found out they got the money quicker. And that's when the CIA got the idea to start this program. That's really how it started.
Didn't Corleone go to Vegas? Didn't he? I could have sworn he did. I could have sworn he did. It's a movie though, but I'm just saying. the symbolism there.
Death Mountain in North Russia.
Death Mountain?
This is probably one of the craziest connections, connecting a lot of stuff that we've talked about on the podcast. It's a very tall mountain, like one of the tallest mountains in the region. A very spiritual place. The ancient tribesmen, the Sami tribes, they say that it's where these giants used to live. Of course. And there's this giant flood. And these evil giants, who they say came from the fallen gods, went to this mountain to escape the flood. Some of them went into the earth. They believe that there's the spirits of these evil giants still roam on this mountain today. There are 16,000 megalithic boulders that are bouncing on smaller rocks. They believe that these boulders were placed by the giants, and they act as a portal to another realm. So they say that these giants are actually very hard to kill because they could go to these portals and escape into the spiritual realm.
Dude, is that what Bigfoot is? Just a hairy giant?
Dude, it makes you think.
It makes you think.
I think the public needs to know this. If you're traveling this summer for vacation or for the holidays, listen up. As of right now, the FBI is hunting down 500 truck driving serial killers. Before I get into it, if you're traveling this summer, you're going to want to be cautious traveling on I-40. So this has been going on for the past 20 years, but it's ramping up. So the FBI is guesstimating that around 1,000 plus women have been murdered by long-haul truck drivers. But that's not all. They also have murdered 2 couples as well at truck stops. And these are the weirdos they're catching. So this is actually a chilling last picture of this girl before she was murdered. Basically what they're doing is they're targeting SEX workers at truck stops and unsuspecting women. What they're doing then is basically torturing these women in the back of their trailers for as long as they possibly want to, and then they end up just murdering them. But the body count is just getting higher and higher. Basically so high that they're letting it be known to the public. So the sad part is a lot of these working girls don't have a choice. Either their PIMPs are saying, hey, you gotta go in that truck or else, or hey, you're not gonna get your DRUGS if you don't get in that truck. And they're all ending up dead. So far, the FBI has concluded that it's happening in North Carolina, Tennessee, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, all the way to California. Like I said, I-40 all across America. So if you're traveling this summer, be careful. If you are pulling into a rest stop on I-40, make sure your head is on a swivel, because apparently this is becoming a major issue.
Now that said 2024, it's 2025. I don't know if that situation is stopped, but I highly doubt it. Anybody affected by that, spam it up. If you known about this, spam it up. Shit is wild, man. Shit is a wicked ass world sometimes. But we gonna bring it to the forefront. And I also wanted to say to my natives, I apologize because I have seen a lot of native women have been getting taken advantage of and violated. We will get to that. We will get to that. But I have seen that, and I apologize it's taking me so long to get to that rabbit hole. Down that whole topic. Prayers to y'all as well. Spam it up if you know any other more information that I can go diving, but yeah, I'll bring more of that.
I don't think you're ready for these creepy urban legends from Idaho. One of the strangest legends that I've come across so far is the absolute denial that the state even exists. General consensus exists that Idaho was only put on the map to serve as a barrier for Utah from Canada, as well as a barrier between Washington and Montana. People ask, do you know anyone from Idaho? Have you ever been to Idaho? Do you know anyone who has ever been to Idaho? Since the answer to these questions is usually a resounding no, it feeds to the myth that the state doesn't actually exist. This is mostly chalked up to being more of a conspiracy theory than a legend, but it is a popular one that has made its rounds on the internet. Would you be brave enough to discover if Idaho is real? Like and follow for more, but...
Here's another site I'm going to take you guys.
I know a few people from Idaho.
Antron Singleton is 6'6", was known as Big Lurch, and considered a pioneer of horrorcore rap. He also committed one of the most shocking and brutal murders in the music industry. Or did he? Born in Dallas in 1976, he began writing poetry at the age of 7 and performing music by 1990. First going by the name G. Spade and later changing it to Big Lurch, a name that was given to him by his peers due to his massive stature. His debut appearance was in 1996, and throughout the late 90s he had multiple appearances in singles. All was looking good for Big Lurch, but on September 16th of 2000, he was involved in a horrific car accident. A day after his birthday, he was hit by a drunk driver, which caused devastating injuries, including a broken neck. Following his release from the hospital, he still had trouble walking and was in a ton of pain, so he turned to using to help ease that pain. While self-medicating, he wrote the song Texas Boy. Things were looking up for him when he moved to LA and was signed to a new label, although the dope house that he lived in was less than ideal. On April 10th of 2002, his entire life would be changed forever. That is the day he allegedly brutally his 21-year-old roommate Tynesha Sias. In the Los Angeles apartment, she was beat to death, her chest was cut and ripped open, and there was a bite taken out of her right lung. Eyewitnesses said Antron was in the middle of the street completely naked, covered in blood, just staring up at the sky. Now, photos would later reveal that this was heavily exaggerated and there was only a small amount of blood on him. Her autopsy revealed bite marks on her face and lungs, and Big Lurch's stomach contained flesh that did not belong to him. It was reported that a full 2 weeks went by before he was aware of his surroundings, now in jail on a murder charge. This is what he said is the last thing he remembers before the
all I can remember, the world was gonna end, and I had to find the devil and kill the devil before the world ended. That's the last thought that I had.
He said that PCP was being passed around and they just kept feeding it to him. All evidence on the surface pointed to Big Lurch being high on freaking out and his roommate. But even Tynesha's mother doesn't believe that to be the case. She filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Antron, Stress Free Records, and Death Row Records. The lawsuit stated that the record labels were feeding him to make him more violent and more marketable. Tynesha's mother does not believe that Antron was responsible for the murder, but instead it was her boyfriend. She said he was involved in gang activity, had beaten her multiple times, and on the day of the murder, she had her bags packed and was ready to leave him. Her and Antron both believed that they were fed large amounts of drugs and taken advantage of. Police found so much in Tynesha's system that it would have been impossible for her to smoke that much. And Big Lurch was just so out of his mind that he believed that her body on the floor was just a piece of meat. It seemed more likely that somebody was a child's scooter, had a bloody handprint on it. A handprint that did not match Big Lurch's. Also at the scene was a bloody footprint that didn't match his, other bloody fingerprints that also did not match his fingerprints. The teeth marks in the victim did not match his teeth marks, and at the scene was an unclaimed shoe. Antron suggested that the teeth marks came from a pit bull that was at the house. This case had so much unquestioned and unanswered evidence, but despite this, his trial was fairly quick. His lawyer, Milton Grimes, urged him to plead insanity. This was quickly thrown out as drug intoxication cannot be used as an insanity plea in California. Milton Grimes, who was also Rodney King's lead attorney, owned the record label Big Lurch was signed to and represented him in court. During his case, he never mentioned the dog in the house, never mentioned how the teeth marks did not match his. The footprint, the fingerprints, the shoe, none of that was mentioned in court. And as for the DNA evidence that police collected, they lost it. They used his music and lyrics against him in court, and he claims that Milton didn't even give him decent clothes for his court hearing. Grimes didn't even bother to get a statement from Tynesha's mother. Big Lurch fully believes that he was set up. He was sentenced to 2 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole. Tynesha's mother visited him in prison and said that she knew he was set up and that she forgives him. Immediately following his incarceration, his record label released both of his debut albums, as well as the documentary Drugs Made Me Do It, all released without his permission. There has been multiple petitions to give Big Lurch a retrial. What do you think? Did he murder her in a drug-fueled craze, or was he set up?
Deeper because there's some things that just ain't adding up with what I've heard directly from somebody who's been in there, and I just gotta that's something I gotta take in, and I gotta go looking and paying attention a little bit deeper. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts. But y'all know we made it to the end of this, and if you haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell so you always notified whenever we drop them uploads. Y'all know we coming with about 4 videos every smooth 7, and this is for entertainment purposes as well. And when you like and comment and subscribe to the channel, helps Collective grow, helps Collective get bigger, helps more people who like this type of content tap in with this content. But I ain't gonna hold you, man. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Collective, man. Y'all don't understand it. We almost at that 100K. But until I see y'all in the next one, man, y'all know what it is. We gone.
Ay, yeah, I just check my account. Sheesh, at the amount. You probably know what I'm